Hello dear students, in this video lecture we are going to discuss about that continued part of that classical mechanics. In the last video lecture I have already discussed about what are the constraints and types of constraint, holonomic constraint, non-holonomic constraint with the definition and example, and also I have given the definition of scleronomic constraint and rheonomic constraints, but I have not given any examples, right? So here the scleronomic constraint is a constraint do not contain a time explicitly, right? Means that constraint equation which do not contain a time explicitly. How? Let us see one example. Here there is one bead which is sliding on this fixed rod, right? This rod is fixed, means there is a theta is fixed, it is sliding in this way, and we are going to represent the constraint equation, that is tan theta is equal to y by x. Then y is equal to x tan theta. Here theta is a constant, so it does not contain any time. This equation does not contain any time, so this is an example for scleronomic constraint, right? So, and also this is not only example for scleronomic constraint, this is also example for the holonomic constraints. This is a example for both scleronomic and a holonomic constraint. How? Because this is we are going to represent in the form of equation, means there is a equality. Usually in the holonomic constraint there is a equality, in the non-holonomic constraint there is a inequality. That equation is there is a inequality, right? So this is the example for scleronomic constraint, also holonomic constraint. And again, rheonomic constraint. What is the rheonomic constraint? Constraint equation contain a time explicitly, right? So again I am going to take a same example, but there is a slight change here. Here that bead which is sliding over this rod, and simultaneously this rod is rotating in this way, means there is an angular displacement, that is a theta, right? So bead sliding on the rotating rod and simultaneously that rotating rod. Okay, then equation of constraint is again, that is tan theta is equal to y by x. So y is equal to x tan theta, and theta here there is an angular displacement. That theta we are going to write it as omega t, right? Omega is the angular velocity and t is a time. So angular displacement theta is equal to omega t. So this equation contains a time, that's why we are going to represent it as a rheonomic constraints. Again this is a holonomic constraint also, because there is a equality in the equation. So y is equal to x tan omega t. So this is an example for both holonomic and rheonomic constraint. Okay, this is all about the scleronomic constraint and rheonomic constraint. And the next one, actually I forgot some points while explaining about the constraint. That is if sorry while explaining about the degrees of freedom. Actually, if there is a constraints are present in the degrees of freedom. Okay, for example, this is a pen, okay, which can move along the x-axis, y-axis or z-axis. If there is a constraint, means if it is moving along the y-axis and z-axis, then the degrees of freedom is what? Let us see. That degrees of freedom will be decreases if there is a restriction or a constraints on the movement of the particles. Required space is naturally reduced, right? Just I have given one example. This is a pen in the space which is moving along the x-axis, y-axis and z-axis. Then degrees of freedom is 3. If I am going to restrict to the plane surface, if it is a plane surface, it can move along the y-axis or it can move along the x-axis. It cannot move along the z-axis, means that is restricted. Automatically the required space is reduced. So if the system of a particles involved k constraint, then degrees of freedom will be 3n minus k. Initially I have said the degrees of freedom of n particles in a space, free space, that is a 3n. If there is a constraints are present, then 3n minus k. Okay, let us see one more example here. Here actually there are the two particles. These two particles are connected each other. So the degrees of freedom for these two particles which are connected each other means there is a constraint, right? So already we know that this is a formula. 3 into n is nothing but two particles. 3 into 2 minus constraint is how much? 1 only. So the degrees of freedom is 5 here. Let us see one more example. There are the three particles. Okay, these three particles are connected each other. Now the degrees of freedom for these three particles is again 3 into 3 minus constraint is 1, 2, 3. So degrees of freedom is 6. Okay, let us see one more different example. For example, simple pendulum. Here in the simple pendulum, the number of degrees of freedom is what? How can we calculate? Sir, I am going to take it as a x-axis, y-axis, z-axis. Here actually the variable term is, I am going to take it as a variable term is 2. That is theta and L, right? But here L is fixed, here variable term is theta. Then degrees of freedom is, the number of variable term is 2. So 2 minus 1, the degrees of freedom is only 1 for this simple pendulum case, right? Means the degrees of freedom when there is a constraint present, then we can write it as a 3n minus k, or we can say it as a number of variable minus constraint, that will give the degrees of freedom. Means if there is a constraints present, naturally the required space is reduced. Okay, that's it.